What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to give you the most thorough and in-depth tutorial I can give you on the one-arm pull-up. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you 3 methods that will get you the one-arm pull-up. Each of them are a little bit different than the other. However, each method will get you the one-arm pull-up if you stick to it, or you can just combine all 3 and pick like the best exercises of all of them, and then at the end I'll explain to you which method I personally used to get the one-arm pull-up. So before starting any of these one-arm pull-up methods, I do highly recommend to reach the prerequisite, so the requirement. So you need to be able to do at least 15 to 20 bodyweight pull-ups and chin-ups, because if you don't have that pulling strength, it's going to be too hard for you to really progress. So focus on the basic pull-up and the chin-up, and then once you reach that prerequisite, come back and work towards the one-arm pull-up, because you don't want to rush into it and then injure yourself. So the first method, and we're going to start off with the easiest one and most basic to understand, and it's pretty much just doing weighted pull-ups and chin-ups. So I made this the first method because it's pretty self-explanatory. You just increase your max weighted pull-up numbers until you can reach the number that most people say for the one-arm pull-up is going to be 50% of your body weight for 10 reps. So if you're, let's say for example, if you're 150 pounds, you want to be able to do 75-pound pull-ups for 10 reps. Does that make sense? So the reason why this is a pretty easy method is just because there's not much thought that has to go into it. You just have to get really strong at doing pull-ups, which will then carry over to a one-arm pull-up, because your pulling strength is just so much stronger. And you also want to do weighted chin-ups just so you can get stronger biceps as well, which will really help in the overall one-arm pull-up. So it's pretty simple. Get like a weight belt or like a weight vest and slowly add weight. I recommend getting a weight belt and then adding plates to it, because it's a lot easier to stack up, and a weight vest has a certain limit. You just increase the reps, the sets, the weight, until you can slowly work your way up to 50% of your body weight for 10 reps, and then you should be able to do a one-arm pull-up. Also, while you're training the weighted pull-ups, you also want to make sure that you're good at hanging with one arm. That's going to be for all 3 of these methods. It's pretty obvious. Like if you can't hang with one arm, you're not going to be able to pull your whole body weight up. So yeah, get good at hanging with your one arm. I would say 30 to 45 seconds with one arm hang should be pretty solid. So the second method is going to be doing assisted one arm pull-ups. So with the assistance, I'm not talking about like resistance bands or like a towel. I'm talking about just holding the pull-up bar with one arm, and then you hold your arm with your other arm, so like your forearm, and then you do pull-ups like that until you slowly work your way down the forearm, which means the one that's holding onto your forearm can assist less. So let's say you're doing pull-ups with your right arm, your left arm is right underneath your wrist. It's probably gonna be like a 55-45 transfer, and then as you work your way down, your left arm is going to do less and less assistance, so it's going to be more on your right arm, and then you just work your way all the way down until you just let go, and then you just do a pull-up with just that one arm. This method is pretty simple and self-explanatory as well as the weighted pull-ups, because you just go in a linear path and you just work your way down. This one I'm not a big fan of, but it does help, and it has worked for many people. So the third method, which is, I'll give you a little spoiler, it's the method I used and it's my favorite because I think it's the most effective, and it's going to be breaking down the exercise into individual exercises. So if you take the one-arm pull-up and you break it down into easier exercises, so you start off with the one-arm hang, and then your scapula shrug, the pulling, and then the holding at the top. You just take those 4 exercises and then you break them down and work on them individually. So the first one is going to be hanging with one hand. Obviously you want to get good at this. I'm able to hang with one hand for like 45 seconds to a minute, so that's pretty strong. And then I did a lot of scapula shrugs. That is really the key, because that's the initial pulling of the one-arm pull-up. If your scapulas are not strong enough, the first part of the pull-up you're not going to get that. I did around 2 sets of 15 for each side, and then for the pulling movement I did commando pull-ups. So these pull-ups simulate the same movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up, and then you can use less and less fingers on your other arm to assist, so your main arm is doing more of the work. And then at the very top of the exercise is going to be the hold. I'm not sure if there's a specific name for it, but I just like to call it like one-arm pull-up holds, or like I guess you can say like a bent arm hold. Yeah, I like to do it in like a supinated, so a chin up position in your hands, and then you just hold that for as long as you can, switch arms, and you keep doing that until you can no longer hold yourself, and do that for like 3 sets, 2 to 3 sets, and you should get really strong in that. I built my way up to 20 seconds for each arm, and that's around the time when I actually got the one arm pull up. So try and aim for that goal, 20 seconds of the bent arm hold, and at the end you just pull them all together. You one arm hang, scapula shrug, commando pull up, and then a hold at the top. So on top of doing the commando pull-ups, you want to make sure you're also trying to get some single arm pulling strength by doing archer pull-ups, and you can also use a resistance band to help work on that one arm pulling strength. So you just work your way down onto the resistance band, or you can use a towel and work your way down. The farther down you go on the resistance band or the towel, the less assistance it can do for the pulling arm. So it's another good way to build some strength. Just put them all together and it will make your one arm pulling strength a lot better. Now, the last exercise that came really helpful is similar to the bent arm hold, and it's going to be the one arm pull up negatives. I would suggest you do this with every single method. Way to pull ups, the assistance, and then the breaking down method. The negatives, you can literally just do negatives and get the one arm pull up. However, if you're anything like me, when I first started, as soon as you let go of your other arm, you're flying straight down. So working on that top hold will get you the strength to hold yourself up, and you can go slowly down. The negatives are pretty hard on your elbows, so you want to be careful to not do them too much. However, they are an amazing exercise. So here's another tip that I'm going to give you that I wish I knew when I first started doing the one arm pull up. If you do too many of these one arm pull up exercises, if you do too many, you're going to put so much stress on your elbows, like the inside and like the outside of your elbow. So I got, from doing so many of these exercises, working my way up, I got golfer's elbow and tennis elbow on both of my arms. It was nuts. Well, I had to take a couple weeks off of training the one arm pull up, really any pulling movements, because it was too much pain on my elbows. So that is a big tip. Don't overdo it with these one arm holds, because your arm is literally taking your entire body weight, and that's a lot of stress. So if you're not strengthening it properly and you're not being patient enough, you're gonna overdo it and you can injure yourself, kind of like I did, and have to recover. But if you recover properly, you can come back even stronger. So that's gonna be the entire tutorial today. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if this video has been helpful to you. There are gonna be more methods to learn the one arm pull up. However, I'm just gonna give you the 3 ones that I think are the most effective and useful to a broader audience. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them, and peace out.